Hello.
Hello. Happy Sunday shift.
Happy Sunday shift. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend about Sunday shift. If you want to buy us a coffee, that link will be in the description. And shout out to Janice, who has been so giving and generous in like both buying us coffees and like leaving us messages. You are so appreciated. I think you've been here since the very beginning. So shout out to Janice. Thank you very much.
Yay. Shout out to Janice.
Um, Tanya, how was your week?
My week. It's been okay.
Hmm.
My week has been weeking. Ever since the
Yeah.
election is over, I feel like I haven't had anything like deep or exciting or stressful to do. So it's just been even keel.
Hmm.
Yeah. And trying to avoid um well, basically, the new big movie out is Sinners by Ryan Coogler
Yes.
and who's from
Did you
Oakland. And
go?
so I have not yet. And the reason why and I think I've said this before, is I don't do horror. And
Same.
so it's being billed as a big horror movie. And so I've been trying to avoid seeing, skit or little scenes of it because I don't like scary stuff. I One of my biggest pet peeves is seeing horror commercials or ads during the day because it
Yes.
scares me. And so
And I did not consent to this.
I was like, why is this on right now? This is not appropriate for children or me.
Or
And so
me.
so I've been trying to avoid conversation about it, but apparently it's this real think piece, kind of like when that first one came out. I forgot what it was called, Get Out.
Oh, get out. Oh,
That's how,
yeah.
yeah. So it's become like this big juggernaut of a film, and now everyone has to see it. So now I'm probably going, like, I even put out a post on my social media, like, hey, scaredy cats, is this a good movie to see? Because I'm a scaredy cat. But
Hmm.
I really want to see it. And so some of my friends were like, no, it's not a big horror movie. It's not like that. And so now I gotta go see it. I'll probably go see it on Friday with some friends. But yeah, so my week
Yeah.
has been trying to avoid conversation about that, but it's huge. It's beyond. And the commentary from the media about it has been interesting because they've been like,
Mm,
oh, it's a flop, or oh, it's not going to do well, and it's not going to make money back. And yet, you know, the power of the people, when we get upset, we will fight back and we will watch our films and we'll support one
exactly.
another. So,
Shout out to Ryan Coogler. Congratulations,
yeah,
Coogs. That's
yeah.
real.
So, yeah.
Um, yeah, I think if I were in Oakland, I probably would have already went to go see it because
Hmm.
Grand Lake Theater is my favorite theater. And I love a movie. I was actually just talking about this with somebody else that pre-COVID, like I would go to the movies by myself all the time. Like it was
Yes.
actually like something I would want to do, not like friends be like, oh, I'm like, oh, I already saw that.
Yeah.
Um, and Grand Lake was like one of the ones I like to do. So I do love a theater that has like an experience of like the dream loungers and the bringing the food into you and all that. But Grand Lake is just I love it. I love to go on a weekend where they pull the organ out. Um, so I think I would have already seen it then. I have friends who
Oh
went
yeah.
today. They were like, "Do you want to go?" They actually probably just went, and I was like, "Well, I record my podcast." It was my excuse to not go. Um,
Yeah.
but I think me and my
But
mom are
yeah,
gonna end up going because she likes horror. She always kind of
uh,
laughs at me because I'm a scaredy cat. You know.
whatever. It's the
Um,
real creatives and the imaginatives that don't do horror because we have great imaginations and they come alive. At least for me, my
mhm.
imagination comes alive at night.
Yes.
And I live alone. And so I don't have anyone to protect me from my own brain.
Right. Right. No, it's been this week has been good for me. I
Hmm.
feel like I'm getting back in the swing of like working pretty regularly. My mom was sick, she's better now. I think she's probably ready for me to go. She's like, I feel good. And you know
Hmm.
how it's like I'm not ready yet.
Yes.
But yeah, so doing really well. So shout out to everybody. Thank you so much who like sent messages and things like that. Everything was appreciated. And she's doing well. Um, but
Yay.
yeah, so I'm like in the swing of work again and like having to like check back in and so it's just been a busy week. But other than that, it's been good. No complaints. I'm trying to like swing back into doing more stuff to make me like happy and healthy.
Hmm.
So getting back into like a regular kind of fitness routine, I definitely fell off. So if anybody else is doing a fitness routine, like hit me up, let me know. If you got an Apple Watch, let me know. I'll add you for as a friend. We can try to keep each other accountable and close our rings.
Yeah.
Um,
Are we Apple Watch friends? Because I know
I
I'm
don't
on
think
there.
so.
Yeah. Look me up.
Okay, I will do that after. I'll do that when
Yeah.
we press stop record.
Yeah.
I like the dance videos. I'm a fan of them.
Mhm.
So yeah, just like trying to do more of that because the world is wild and all we can really control is like what we do for ourselves.
Right. World is wild.
And what I did for myself was make myself so mad about GH this week. So let's hop into it. Tanya, who was your performer of the week?
I have to give it up to Rick Hurst and
Mm.
I guess Nancy LeGrand. Um,
Ah!
because that hospital scene on Tuesday, man, I loved it. I loved every minute of it. And we'll talk about it more. But Rick Hurst has been Rick Hurston this week, and I appreciate him. Also, definitely have to give it up to my girl, Maura West. Um, and so, yeah, those were really for me. It,
Mhm.
Carly and Sonny scenes were great. Love little girl Donna. Love her.
Adorable.
She had some great side eyes today with my least favorite person. And I loved how she responded to him. It was funny. Uh, so yay! Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I love Donna. I put up her little side eye
Uh-huh.
on our Instagram and I commented, this caption was, the face when a stranger who smells like horses is your new babysitter. Um, and I have lots of issues. We'll get into it because, like, why in the world are you leaving a little girl home with a man you don't know? We'll talk
Right.
about that. I was furious. The other person,
Yeah.
I don't know how to say his last name, but Asher, who plays Danny.
Oh
I love
yeah.
the scenes between Danny and Jason. Um,
Hmm.
Sam is such like a larger than life character to me personally, someone who I've loved since I watched GH. I still miss Kelly Monaco. I still wish we had her there. You can look at the canvas now and see places where she should be and where her point of view as Sam would have been welcomed and made the stories richer. And so that's a lot to carry the legacy of that character and to like really show how missed she is in your
Hmm.
performance. And so Asher as Danny, I think just did a perfect job. And him being so comfortable in the chemistry he has with Steve as his dad, um, really got me. It was like that part where Steve, like when Danny was like, you know, I hope my mom sees this, or I hope she knows that you're there for me, and they hug. And then Jason like looks up to Sam, like, got
Oh,
me, got me in my
yeah.
feels. Um, so definitely, just like Asher for holding down such a big piece of the story for a character that's so missed by me and by so
Hmm.
many other. Um,
Yeah.
I miss Sam every day.
Oh.
Uh, so let's get into the story. They're going to be kind of in and out of order. So let's start with Natalia and Sidwell.
I'm like, yeah.
So it's kind of wonky. One of the things, and people, if you know this about me, the two things I really like is when stories overlap and when people
Hmm.
are in one place and they have like different points of view in one place. And so we got both of those things this week. So I do like that. But we have Natalia talking to Sidwell, and he's like, well, nobody's gonna protect you. You have to tell me what you know. Like, why were you with Sonny at this doctor? So she knows
Hmm.
that he had her followed, and instead of being like, that is a problem, you shouldn't have done that. Like, I'm leaving. She tells him that Sonny has this heart condition,
I
and
was
for
like,
it was weird, right?
how you just gonna portray him like that? And she felt that he portrayed her, which is
But
crazy.
But she did that first. And so I'm
Yeah.
confused about the storytelling of it because
Hmm.
so she does this and she tells Sidwell about his heart, which was crazy. Like the fact that
Right.
she would even do that, even if she felt mad at him, that's still a wild thing to do.
Right.
Um, and then after that, she leaves to go talk to people at Deception, and they wanted to fire her, and Sunny kind of didn't stop it. And so then
Hmm.
she like throws a temper tantrum to her son, mad at Sunny. But you had already betrayed Sunny by telling Sidwell his business. So why in your head did you not be like, well, he ain't wrong because I'm a motor mouth?
I don't know, but remember, I guess she probably was still a little hurt that he said we gotta end our relationship.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, so maybe she felt wronged by him, but at the same time, you didn't tell him who you were married to. So if you're doing this whole tit for tat thing, you still are the one that's in the wrong more than Sunny.
Hmm.
But yeah, I felt like, and he actually, I guess what I felt was like, felt more sorry for Sunny because Sunny actually felt like they had a friendship and she did betray that. And so he let her down easy. He
Yeah.
could have, I mean, he has done some really wild stuff when he's let people go. But she got it easy.
Hmm.
And and then she goes around and does this. I'm like, girl, you know what? He could have killed you for the betrayal that you did. He could have embarrassed you in front. He's done some wild things to people he's cared about. Embarrassed you in front of the whole town, called you a slut and a whore and all kinds of things. He didn't do that. He didn't do that. He was like, I
Right.
appreciate you, I respect you, but we gotta end. And
For
I'm
the
gonna miss you
safety of my family.
for the safety of my family. That's all he did. And then she goes around and tells his business to a rival. Like, girl, you
But it
deserve all that's
also
gonna come to you.
it felt out of sequence, and so I don't know if like they don't want us to think that Natalia is just petty, but it felt like if that would have happened and she would have been upset and then told Sidwell, maybe that
Yeah.
could have been something different. But it felt really weird in the way and the timing in which she told him.
Yeah.
Like I don't get it. I I I don't
He's
know.
mad.
I don't get what she was
I don't
doing.
yeah. So I don't know how I mean, obviously a lot of people felt she was unredeemable by, she is unredeemable by being homophobic, Maria Santos. And she's kind of like, now she's kind of like almost in the
Double
same
homophobe.
category, double homophobic and a betrayer. She's so she's almost in the category as Drew Lavery now in terms of what the town feels about her. Because you know, it's like,
Yeah,
how you gonna do that?
but on the flip side of this, I felt like it was odd that Jason didn't have a stronger relation or stronger reaction to Sasha. So
Mhm.
Sasha, he finds out that Sidwell had given her money and that she had like betrayed like Maxie and Brooklyn, and she's like, well, and it was just like I've watched the scene twice. It was very forgettable.
Right.
It was I don't understand why what Sasha did, to be quite honest, feels more of a betrayal than what homophobic Maria Santos did. Because as far as
Yeah.
homophobic Maria Santos knew, she kind of was like embarrassed and didn't want to be, like involved or associated with Sidwell.
Right.
I'm trying to remember, but it does not seem that she knew he was like gunning for Sonny in that way when she didn't tell Sonny.
Right.
Flip side, Sasha knows exactly who he is and kind of like was like, well, he was just getting back at my mom. Sis, he would have killed you.
Exactly.
And I've been defending Sasha because people don't like her because she's Holly's daughter now, and like the weird story with Cody. Like there was a lot of things that I was like, I'm gonna stand beside her. Yeah, she sounds stupid, but a lot of people sound stupid with this writing. And I was like, my sister has burnt too many bridges, and I can't help her now.
Yeah, I mean, especially if Sidwell is the person involved in the fire
Right?
and she's taking money from him, that is bad. That's pretty bad. So yeah, you are correct. Jason's reaction was very muted. But on the other hand, maybe it's muted because she's still carrying Michael's baby. I
Maybe.
don't know. Yeah, but that wasn't part of the conversation. It wasn't actually as full of a conversation as it needed to be. Like you said, it was very short. And, he just took her words and was just like, okay, no,
Mm-hmm.
that needed to
Mm-hmm.
be a deeper conversation. And she needs to understand the consequences of getting into a partnership with him in terms of the safety of her child and of
Mm-hmm.
the Michael and his family.
And his
And
family.
that did, yeah.
Yeah, part of what is happening with the show in general is that they are just making things up. And it's hard to get invested in stories because they keep shifting them around.
Mhm.
So now Sasha is like, well, I know that Maxie wouldn't have dealt with him if they knew what he really did to me, but deception needed this to be successful. No,
So,
this is
yeah.
like, let's not rewrite this story. You did this on some scammy stuff because you got scamming in your blood. I'm not interested in that. And it's hard because they just keep shifting stories, taking people out. It's just, and this is one of the examples of it. And this is a particularly egregious example because it doesn't make any sense. So
Yeah.
I don't know. The other thing that doesn't make sense that literally I had to like stand up and take a walk. Jordan and Isaiah break up.
Yeah. That was weird. And now who is he going to be with?
And
And does that mean he's not going to have, like, is he going to disappear like TJ? Like,
ooh, don't even get me
like,
started on the disappearance of TJ. But we are like, what is frustrating to me is that we
mhm,
have asked for a relationship for Jordan outside of Curtis for years.
mhm.
Years. And so now we get this relationship, and all of a sudden it's over for like this plot point with Sidwell. And like they already were doing like they're in a secret relationship, and now it's like we're not even in a secret relationship. I've chosen to like try to take this man down because I'm so like over excited about this career of mine that's not even a career because what is going to happen when you catch him up? You're not attached to any law enforcement right now.
Yeah.
You're not undercover. I think he even asked me, he's like, "Are you DEA?" Which was interesting because we didn't even know Sidwell would move drugs.
Right.
But like,
He
are
just,
you? So if you catch him up in something, Jordan, what are you going to do? Who are you turning
right.
him over to? Who?
Well, well, now it looks like, I guess Anna knows what she's up to. So maybe she's turning him into Anna. And
Sure,
she's
but
not
Anna
in
didn't
formal
commission him.
partnership.
Anna
Right.
didn't. Anna didn't commission her to do this. And say she gets caught up in doing something illegal in order to like move stuff along. If you're working with like some sort of law enforcement agency, then it's just like covered, I guess,
Mhm.
like that you would do that you have to do what you have to do to like stay undercover, whatever.
Yeah.
Now you a civilian, so if you get caught up doing something illegal, you just got caught up doing something illegal.
Yeah. And then what's all this about, the whole chain of command, chain of evidence type stuff. Like she's not an actual cop. So whatever
Right.
evidence she comes up with is not it's not going to be able to be useful in court. I don't know.
No. Well, I guess maybe
She,
we are collectively thinking too much about it.
I guess.
Mhm.
We're supposed to just accept it as a soap thing. That
Right.
whatever she comes up in evidence is automatically going to be admissible and she'll be the hero and like everyone will love her again. I don't
Hmm.
know.
But it's like, on one hand, we're supposed to believe that, like, the grandparents' visitation rights thing was like the story it was because we were in New York. But then when other things come up, they just come up. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about? Um,
Yeah.
so that was
And then
frustrating to me.
can you remind me what is her motivation against Sidwell again? Like usually she has some sort of personal motivation, like they kidnap like for what's his name? Cyrus kidnapped TJ. That was
Hmm.
her motivation. And he terrorized her while she was undercover. What is
Hmm.
her motivation for Sidwell? Why is she doing it?
We
Do you
haven't
remember?
heard.
Okay.
No, I mean, like, maybe it was Isaiah, but not really because you're breaking up with him. It feels more just like some I miss the thrill of taking a man down kind of thing.
Okay.
Right. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Um, you talked
Maybe
about
she
being,
should be.
oh,
I was like, maybe she should be in WSB.
right. I mean, something that would make sense, right? Like, not that I care about the WSB or want to see any more people in it, but
Right.
it it would make sense for her not to just be a civilian doing this. And I'm gonna keep pointing it out. This is one of the times where it would have made sense to have a Sam on screen as a PI,
She's not even a
especially because
licensed. She's not even a
no,
licensed PI.
no. So it's like you are doing this now. The only person who knows you're doing it is Anna. Like, what happens if something happens to you? It doesn't make any sense. You have no partnership. There's no Spinelli. There's nothing outside of this, and I really am tired, and we'll get into it, but I'm tired of people acting like Sidwell is not more dangerous than Sonny. This is an East African warlord. Like, what are we talking about? And people are
Right.
like willing, and it's so clear that he's coming in town trying to wash money and be legitimate because he's all up in the nurse's ball, all up at the hospital, all up in deception, living at Windermere. And y'all don't know him. I don't know. Things are just happening, I guess. I don't get it. I don't get it. So I know that this is one of your performers of the week, but we have Ava continuing to shake down Alexis. So Ava shows up to Rick's hospital room, kind of like decked out and like bought him a gift and all these things. And Rick was kind of like, "Girl, why don't you slow down? You ain't first. You went from being broke to now you got all this money. Like you need to slow down with it." And it felt like she heard that, but then she then went to Alexis to get more money and to basically be like, "This is not. I get this money for you from you, and I back off. It's I can show up to your office when I want to, and I'm gonna come get money from you whenever I want to." Um, I'm gonna let you go because I think I have a different opinion of this than you.
No,
So
I mean, I know you definitely don't like this. And it's not right, definitely, morally, but I like
I
it
don't. I don't
because
care about that. I don't care about things being morally
I
right.
like it because it's like is not only is she shaking Alexis down for more money, she's putting Alexis in her place. Or every time that Ava showed up to the hospital, Alexis was like, "Why are you here? Get out. You can't be here." Just treating her like trash for no reason except Alexis feels superior to her in every way. And so for me, it's like
Or because
the
her,
flip.
uh, or it's because
Well,
her presence upsets her daughters.
so what? I mean, it's a free country as far as I'm concerned.
I
But
mean, it's because it's Molly's dad.
yeah, but Ava and Rick are in a relationship. And so she should be able to go and visit her boyfriend in the hospital. And to have Alexa say, "You can't be here," like she and Rick weren't necessarily the best of friends anyway. So she's kind of like just being like a gatekeeper, which I felt was wrong and inappropriate, especially given, I mean, yeah, Christina feels traumatized by her, but Christina is crazy as hell anyway. And we're enabling her constantly. And part
Yeah,
of that enabling is what got Rick into the hospital in the first place.
sure.
And
I agree with that.
but for me, because I don't like Alexis as a character,
Hmm.
and I hate her attitude towards everybody she feels she's better than. I'm enjoying this comeuppance.
I think a lot of people
So
are.
yeah. So yeah, Ava pushing for more than she actually should be and telling her, like, don't be making demands on this blackmail. I'm blackmailing you.
Hmm.
And, don't be saying I should stay away from Christina. Christina needs to stay away from me. For me, I agree 100% with that. And I just had a evil enjoyment of watching Alexis be be put in her place. So, and that's
That's
part of the
fair.
reason why I enjoyed the scenes with Rick. I mean, even though Rick was just like very smart telling Ava, "Hey, you shouldn't be spending your money heck or crazy because people will find us out." Rick was able to enjoy, you know, telling Alexis off, and it was
Hmm.
deserved. I
Hmm.
enjoyed it immensely. But yeah, Rick is wrong for blackmailing Alexis. Yes, he shouldn't be taking any kind of that money. But at the same time, it was Christina's actions that brought him into the hospital. And that her actions directly stem from Alexis constantly coddling her and putting her before Molly. We were complaining about this the whole time that Molly and Christina's pregnancy was happening. And
Hmm.
Alexis chose Christina over
Yeah.
Molly constantly. And I still feel to this day that Molly should just really go off on Alexis, and she hasn't really done that. And so,
Hmm.
but it's like Rick is Molly's proxy in that way, speaking up for her and fighting for her because Molly won't do it herself. Um,
Hmm.
but yes, I do know how you feel about it. So tell us.
I mean, so I just want to be clear. I don't like
Yeah.
Christina.
Right.
I think that Christina. I don't like Christina. I haven't liked Christina before it was Kate Mansi. I've never really cared for the character of Christina. I think the show's
Mhm.
never really particularly known what to do with her. I think that Lexi's Christina was maybe slightly less annoying because she always felt younger
Yeah.
and because she was like a Christina that we grew up with and we knew. So it was like, ugh, here she goes. And with Kate's Christina, it feels different. So I don't like Christina. I've never liked Christina. I just
Mhm.
want to be clear about that. I also don't really like Ava or Rick. And so Rick calling somebody crazy. Sorry, my memory's long, Mr. Panic Room. I actually don't think you get to call anybody out.
Right.
And it's a soap. We've all watched soaps. I don't mind shady things happening. I don't
Mhm.
mind. So on the surface, I can see why this would be interesting. For me, like as a viewer, I think that Ava antagonized Christina. If somebody if you know, we all knew that Ava never pushed Christina. Ava knew that she didn't push Christina. And for
Mhm.
Christina to stand on it so hard and believe it, Ava knew she was crazy. And part of the way that Ava was like able to be redeemed or brought back around was because of what happened to her daughter Kiki. So for me, I would prefer to see Ava in a situation. I don't mind Ava fighting back. I don't mind her pushing back. I think Sonny has been shady to her. I didn't understand what she was doing with the meds thing. That was always crazy to me. But Ava is not innocent in these interactions. Like when
Mhm.
it comes to Ava and Alexis not liking Ava, Ava got Alexis disbarred. Like we don't bring these things up because they're not a part of the story, and this show always like wants us to feel like we're watching like a sitcom instead of like long form storytelling where it's like week to week, day to day, and they're not telling story over time. But like if you're a long time viewer, you remember these things. So I get completely why Alexis would be like, get out of here. Rick ain't even that serious about you because if Elizabeth looked his way, he'd be over there. So I get it.
It's true. Yeah.
And you like you are upsetting not just Christina, but Molly too. Molly don't want you with her dad. So I get and because I think at the time Alexis didn't know Christina's role in it. Molly being there for Christina, or Christina being there for Molly, rather, to me would have felt more important than Ava being there, period. So I get that. I just didn't. It was also really smart. So I didn't need Rick to have to be the one to tell her not to do this. What are we doing? Like
Yeah.
I'm like I just every time a woman comes up on this show, it is like to be like you're really stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like you're dumb. It's okay, you're dumb. Here comes a man to tell you what to do. Um, and I feel like I can root more for Ava or understand Ava when her back is more against the wall. If she was like doing something to like actually move towards taking care of her daughter, which is what she was hinging all of these things on, cool. It would be a little bit less annoying to me. But
Mhm.
you trying to transfer money so you can buy more furs? Girl, get out of here. It's just that's a very long-winded way of saying I hope everybody loses.
Uh.
Like I'm not particularly team Alexis, but I am annoyed by Ava's behavior, and I'm annoyed by Rick too.
Mm.
They again, Rick and Ava antagonized Christina. This was not. She had no business doing what she did, and I also
Mhm.
think that I might feel differently about Ava if she was the one who had been hurt. But
Right.
you weren't even hurt. Yeah, she came after you, but you weren't hurt. And instead of
Right.
backing off, or doing something to protect her, or like protect yourself from her, you're now doing blackmail. And nothing in any of the paperwork is saying that this person who is clearly unstable can see your daughter. So
Yeah.
if like there's nothing that's saying that Christina can't be around Avery. So it's part of it is storytelling, part of it is like characterization, and I hope everybody loses. Like I just yeah, I hope everybody loses. And I think that they just do the show does Ava a disservice by the way that they write her. It
Yeah, they do.
works because it's Mora. And Mora
Mhm.
West is amazing and can do anything. Like
Yeah.
I never, and I would never, you will never have me come on this show and say anything bad about Maura West. She is phenomenal. She's a phenomenal actress. She handles every scene they give her. She spins it. She tries to make it make sense even when it doesn't. And because of that, I think Ava deserves more motivation and
Hmm.
better motivation because she can handle it and she's such a rich character anyway.
And I think she also deserves to display some growth, which
Yes.
they're not allowing her to do, as the
Hmm.
writers aren't allowing her to actually display some growth.
Hmm.
Um,
And her
yeah.
relationship with Trina when she first became like a mentor to Trina back in the day,
Hmm.
that's what we were seeing. She was still Ava. She was still scheming with Nicholas. She was still doing all these things. I don't mind. Like that's an interesting watch. But there has to be something that's happening For me, that's redeemable for her. Now, for other
Hmm.
people like you who don't like Alexis, and like for other people, like there's nothing wrong with what she's doing because it's
Hmm.
enjoyable to watch because you want to see Alexis get her comeuppance. That's and I also think that that might be a reason why they don't care about writing her that way. But for me, I just think that an actress like Maura West deserves to play a character who has more layers.
Hmm.
Um, the other thing that was like really weird to me, and I would love to hear what you think about this. So we obviously know that Alexis decided not to have Christina committed, told Diane to like rip up the papers. They hired, homophobic Maria Santos' son. He saw the papers. It was all this whole thing. When Diane went to go visit Rick, she dropped the papers and Molly picked them up. To me, it looked like she did it on purpose.
Ooh, because
But
I was
then
just gonna comment on how like irresponsible Diane was being.
that's
Like,
not like
first of
her.
all, it's not like her. She's very smart. She pays attention, but she's had a couple of mess ups. And not just with Molly's papers, but I guess her and Alexis not knowing who Marco's dad was.
Right. Hmm.
So that she took that as a slip up on her and she apologized to Sonny. And so she knew she messed up there, but then she further messes up by losing the papers for Christina. And
Hmm.
so it's just like it's very sloppy of Diane. Diane's usually more careful. So I don't know what's going on with that. Um, but it was crazy to me. But it's interesting that you think she did it on purpose so that Molly would find out. That
Hmm.
is actually kind of something that does not surprise me at all because she really feels that Alexis is doing something hecker wrong by protecting Christina. So
Hmm.
maybe you're right. Maybe she did do it so that Molly could see those papers and be like, what's going on? And that Christina can actually be caught and dealt with.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
interesting.
know.
That is
I don't
interesting.
know. Now, I it, it's weird that we would even have to discuss it, and the show didn't make that clear.
Right.
You know, but Rick obviously knows. Like to your point, we had the scene with Alexis and Rick. They kind of had their
Mhm.
showdown. I found something Alexis said to be at least compelling, which is like, Rick, you haven't been around. So yeah, I might have
Mhm.
messed up and like put Christina first because if anybody has siblings, you know that that's real. That
Right.
if you are the sibling that the parent doesn't have to worry about, the one that they do have to worry about, the messy one, gets all of the
All the
attention.
attention. Yeah.
So I think that part of the reason people, especially people who are siblings, really resonated with how frustrated when they were with Alexis around
Hmm.
Molly is that that's a real thing that happens. Not that
It
it's right
is.
by any means, it's very
Right.
wrong, but people know it's like a visceral feeling because you're like, oh yeah, I know what that feeling is.
Yeah.
But for
I mean,
Rick to have,
yeah.
oh, go ahead.
I was with talk about my personal experience. I mean, yeah. I think anyone that has a sibling always feels in some sort of way in competition with the other because sometimes you think the parent favors one child over the next. And that's
Hmm.
a tough thing to have to um deal with emotionally because you're constantly
Hmm.
thinking that your parent doesn't love you as much as the other kid. And even if you are someone that is relatively less high maintenance, it still hurts. You know deep down, okay, my sibling just does need this extra attention. It doesn't have anything to do with me, but it always still kind of hurts and tugs at your heart. So I always
Hmm.
felt like, you know, I always felt for Molly in that
Hmm.
sense, you know?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I did find the whole like you haven't been around for her and
Yeah.
Rick. I think when Molly finds out that Rick used this situation in this way,
Oh, she's
it's
not
going
gonna
to
like that either.
alienate, yeah, it's going to alienate their relationship even more.
Yeah.
So, okay, so Molly is sitting there with Cody, which apparently he got kicked by a horse, the same horse that he drove off with Molly on last week. And they're going, and she's waiting with him. They're going through her paperwork. She sees the papers that talk about Christina's um, being committed. What did you think about her going straight to Christina with it?
Yeah, that was crazy. Because I would have been like, Mom, what you doing?
Yeah,
Yeah, instead of running to Christina. That's crazy.
particularly knowing how her mother has favored Christina,
Oh yeah.
the idea that she would do this to her, I would have been like, let me go see what's up because maybe there is something happening that I haven't seen.
Hmm.
Like, it's surprising to me that Molly would feel like Alexis would just commit Christina willy nilly. Like, what?
Right.
What
And
are we
then
talking
why would
about?
like unless it was like I would want to get more information before I tell my sister about it because I wouldn't want my sister to be hurt in that way. And then,
Yeah.
so knowing that her mother would want to commit her without her knowing. So I would go to mom and be like, Mom, what are you doing? And why aren't you including Christina in this decision? Is there something that I don't know?
Is there something I'm not
Um,
seeing?
and I'm not seeing. And then how can I help and support? Or, help smooth things over and make sure it goes in a way that's not hurtful to everybody. But no, instead, I'm going to run to my sister and tell her that's just going to cause drama.
It didn't
Mm,
feel true to Molly.
yeah,
The other thing that I find to be disturbing is that Molly has spent all this time in the hospital, whether for Rick or sitting with Cody, and never once have we heard her say, "I'm worried that I'll see TJ."
that's going all to the erasure of TJ as a person. It's almost as if he
It's
did not exist on the canvas at all. And it's
never.
crazy.
And TJ has been a character for a very long time.
Yes.
And I do think, and I'm gonna actually put a pin in it. I'm gonna put it. We'll come back to TJ's erasure. I just felt like that was interesting and weird and
Hmm.
disturbing, um,
Yeah.
and that he didn't even come visit her or visit Rick, or Rick didn't say, you know, TJ came by. Even if he's on screen, y'all are saying that he never existed.
Not
So we'll put a
even
pin in.
just, yeah, let's put a pin in it because it's not even just the Molly side of the things that are not mentioning TJ. Everyone is
Hmm.
not mentioning him. So,
Yeah, I want to stick a pin in
mhm.
because I want to come back to when we talk about Trina. So, um, we now have Christina and Molly leaving to go confront Alexis. I was put off. I started talking about this. I was extremely put off and disgusted that the show didn't think about the implications of leaving a young little girl with a man that people didn't know.
Mhm.
In what world would that ever happen? And is Sonny dangerous? And I ask this all the time. Is he in danger or is he not? Where are the bodyguards? It's really difficult to believe that Sonny has brought this criminal element if we don't see the fallout of this criminal element. When GH was really telling mob stories, it'd be dark outside. You know what I mean? It was like actual like things that we were like, oh, it's the mob. But now they want to tell these stories. that show up where like Donna gets left with Cody. What? Did you notice that? Was that something that you thought about?
I thought it was weird that Molly would leave um Donna with Cody, but I didn't think about the whole mob issue. Um, but I think that Carly's house is not as even though according to the story, everyone is on alert because of the bomb or whatever, but in general, I think no, I don't know. For some reason, I feel like Carly's house isn't as protected as, say, um, Sunny's penthouse, which doesn't make sense either.
Right.
But for some reason, it just feels like it. That's how, like, her house is kind of like a bubble outside of the mob. But you're right. Like,
Hmm.
Donna shouldn't be running around anywhere without security. Second, she shouldn't just be left with some random dude. And Christina is like, she's supposed to be hyper aware over Avery, well, not Avery and Donna. She's supposed to be the good big sister. And she just runs off and leaves the kids with whoever whenever she has an issue. That is weird. And it's crazy and highly irresponsible. But yet she's given all this responsibility over the young kids all the time. But yeah, I didn't, I'm not you've made this point before that Sonny is supposed to be at heightened alert, but no, there's no security around at all. And that's true. And it's weird and it's wild.
Hmm.
But I'm more concerned. I mean, I just don't like Cody anyway. So
Right, right.
I don't want him to have any relationship with anybody. I don't like him having a relationship with Donna. Donna's super cute and she don't need that kind of mess in her life.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, him being left alone with that child is crazy. And we don't know if there's anyone else in the house. And so
Just
if it
like
was
in
just
what
her, yeah,
world would a grown man be left with a child
with a
ever?
child.
With a little
Yeah,
girl? That's and I
exactly.
and I actually saw somebody and it frustrated me because I saw somebody tweet about this and I was like, thank
Hmm.
you. It was this woman Paula who I follow. Um,
Hmm.
and somebody responded like, yeah, this is similar to when Christina let Rocco go with Isaiah. No, it's not. No, it's not. They're talking about when Christina asked Isaiah to take Rocco home. So first of all, Donna's a
Now Rocco's a
little
teenager.
girl.
Yeah,
Donna's a
yeah.
little girl. It is very different than having somebody be a young man. Like someone who
Hmm.
can take care of himself, someone who has a
Hmm.
destination that they're going to the whole entire time they're going to be outside. Because I'm not one of those people, I
Hmm.
don't leave nobody I don't know with no kids, period.
Right,
But they're they're going door to door. He's not going in. It's outside. This is an Uber.
right.
Isaiah is also Rocco is uh, uh, Lucky's nephew. Isaiah's
Hmm.
Lucky's best friend.
Hmm.
So this is not a stranger in that same way. And Rocco is not a person that can be coerced to be like, be quiet, don't say nothing. This is what you know, like none of that.
Yeah, I mean
So even just
Rocco
like
could
the
defend
idea,
himself.
yeah, I was just like, that's not the same thing. And this to me is like a piece of lazy writing. Another
Hmm.
piece of lazy writing was Christina was talking to Lucky, and she was like, I don't want to lose the only sister I have left."
She got a lot
Donna and Avery entered the
of
chat. Also, I know y'all not close anymore, but you and Jocelyn were practically raised like sisters.
Hmm.
So no, this is like the laziness of it. That's like, okay, did y'all know that that was gonna.
Right.
So let's actually get into this conversation about um the Esplanade, which if I never have to hear that word again, it's like anybody who watches us who used to watch Grey's Anatomy. When Grey's Anatomy, all they talked about was fistulas, and I was like, I never want to hear about a fistula again. That's how I feel about GH and Esplanades. Who cares? But we
I'm like, this
have,
better be the best damn Esplanade we've ever seen.
come on,
Like what? Like they
ridiculous.
better have a whole new set ready to go. And when it debuts, every other scene is going to be in the Esplanade. The much as they talk about this damn Esplanade, it better be the best damn Esplanade ever. Because
Period.
right now, like The Young and the Restless is doing like set redesigns for one of the
Hmm.
famous houses on the show. And so they have the
Hmm.
family in a hotel, whatever. They're doing a whole reveal of it, right? You see pictures around floating on the internet. That's what I want to happen for this Esplanade. It's just like, y'all
You're like, I do
talking
not
about it.
want. Mm-mm. It's gonna be a patch of grass.
Right. They're just gonna be on the corner in that little grassy area where they have the fireworks and all the outdoor shenanigans.
Mm-mm.
And those
Oscar's
weren't even,
Meadow.
yeah, Oscars met. They don't even talk about that little fireworks area, but it's so used all the time. I
Hmm.
want the Esplanade to replace that. It better be big. It better be, debuted during the nurses' ball, all of it.
The nurses' ball that Sidwell's paying for.
Yeah. If he gets his way and if it goes to the port and Sonny's property, I want it to be redone, reimagined, and the best place. And I want GH to be like, you can have a chance too to visit the Esplanade. As part of, all
Hmm.
their offerings to the fans. They'll do a raffle. They'll have t-shirts and cups and everything.
Right, right. Uh, exactly. So we have Tracy, who is going to align herself, and she gave money to the city council person. Um, and Laura is like explaining. And what Laura did was explain kind of the world that we've always lived in on GH, which is that, yeah, Sonny might be a problem, but if we don't have Sonny, there will be somebody who is more dangerous and more sinister that comes in. We also, I mean, like obviously we had like the thing that happened at Sunny's penthouse. We have not had violence from Sunny on screen in a long time. The last big thing that we had, and this is like why it would have been interesting to bring history back in, was Cyrus blowing up Lulu, and he did that with Julian. So this is what happens. That is the kind of person who could take over if they don't have Sunny. That's always been what we were led to believe. So now to
Mhm.
have all these city officials kind of try to take him out or like take without considering what is going to replace it feels weird to me. Like Tracy actually knows better than this. And so she was like, there was like very personal issues that she has with him, which valid, but also she was trying to make it seem as if it was going to be safer without Sunny, and I don't think that that's true.
And it's really crazy that they are embracing the more dangerous person already
Right,
in order to get rid of Sunny.
right.
Like they're all embracing Sidwell,
Hmm.
Drew, Tracy, all of them. And
Hmm.
so it's like that whole cognitive dissonance going on. Like, let's get rid of Sunny so we can have a safer community, and let's use this more dangerous man to do it.
It would be different if Sidwell wasn't directly involved, but
Right.
he's so overly involved. I mean, even Drew being like, "Oh, I'm gonna sit down with him." In what world would anybody believe that Jordan would embrace Sidwell while rejecting Sonny. When when Jordan sat down with Drew and Sidwell, and when she left, I thought that
Hmm.
Drew was going to tell Sidwell not to trust her.
Right.
I'm glad
And he
he
was.
didn't.
Hmm. And again, it goes to what is outside of her being the former police commissioner, what is her beef with Sonny? Sonny
Yeah,
hasn't ever attacked her family. He
actually helped her
hasn't,
family.
he's helped her family a lot.
Hmm.
He put her son through college or medical school. So why does she want to get rid of him? What is her motivation?
Hmm.
Um, Shoot, she better be on the Sonny Corinthos campaign to keep the peers, but she's not going to be because she's Team Sidwell
Hmm. I
again. And
just.
then that's another thing we can add to the TJ Penn because whose side would he been on?
Hmm.
That could
Hmm.
have been a good story.
Well, I mean that
Oh,
like this is the thing because I know and I agree. There's been a lot of like questions about around Trina's story and what happens with Trina, and I agree with all of that. And I've always said that's really, really short-sighted because there's no way that Trina gets a good story if her family doesn't have a good story. And it is nothing. If they disappeared TJ, what makes us think that they would not do the same thing to Trina whenever Tatiana wanted to leave?
mm-hmm,
TJ has been way more intertwined in the town. He was married to a legacy or partnered, I guess, with a legacy
mm-hmm,
character. And as a matter of fact, when they didn't get married, I knew right then they weren't gonna last. And I knew that they weren't gonna last and that like TJ would be shipped off somewhere. Because I'm like, oh, there's not even like a legal tie. There's not even a reason to divorce.
right.
Like he's just gone. Like there's like
They,
questions about where's Taggart. Sure, I would love for Taggart to be there, and I would love Taggart to be there for Trina. TJ was on contract. Taggart wasn't. So why would we
mm-hmm,
think they would bring Taggart back for Trina if they just got rid of TJ, who should be like a leading man at the hospital?
mm-hmm.
Taj is good with people that you put him with, and he's very handsome. No way that TJ shouldn't be leading something.
So many storylines that he could be in, and like the biggest insult is that not only has Molly's family not mentioned him, but his own family hasn't mentioned him.
I think there was like one
Are we on
mention
that
from Curtis.
pin?
We can. There was one mention from Curtis a couple weeks ago, of him, saying like, "Oh, Sunday paid for TJ's school or something." So he made that one mention, but TJ is
Yeah,
not in this story. There's not anything about him here. TJ wasn't somebody who talked to Kai, since we have to keep hearing about Kai's surgery, which I don't care about. He's just
he
not
wasn't at
involved.
he wasn't at the unveiling of the new heart center. He
Hmm.
should have been there.
Yep.
Um, he could have been the lead doctor in fixing a lot of different hospitalizations that have happened recently with Elizabeth, with Rick. He wasn't there.
Hmm.
Um, he could have been the doctor to look after Jocelyn when she got her, you know, ankle broken or whatever is broken on her. I mean, just so many different things that he could have been a part of that he's missing, and no one's mentioning him at all. And they haven't even
Hmm.
put forth an explanation for it. Like,
Yep.
oh, yeah, TJ is doing a big fellowship in, somewhere in California,
Hmm.
and we're going to miss him. And, none of that.
Hmm.
Not, he's just like, he's now upstairs in the attic with all the other kids. We
To
don't get
your
to
point,
see.
we didn't get a goodbye from him. We
No
didn't get
good.
a last
Yeah.
air date for him. Like easily could have been like, you know what, this thing with Molly It's too much. I'm gonna go study under Patrick Drake. I'm moving to Berkeley, and like he
Right.
was still then like anything. We didn't have anything for him, and that's what I'm talking about when it comes to these storylines. Like even the stuff with Kai right now is like a Drew story,
Hmm.
but now everybody is caught up in like an umbrella story that involves Drew. It's nobody's story, and people get mad. People got mad the last time I said this a while back. But I think we have to also like be really honest about what the writers wrote for Trina during Sprina. And like this is a direct result. So I remember people got so mad at me. It was the first time that they were like going out of town. I think it was like before they had sex for the first time. They and Spencer had came over to her apartment or her dorm and was like trying to convince her not to do her homework to leave. And I was like,
Hmm.
why? What is the purpose of this? Like, why would you just not have him sit there and help her and like listen to her, learn from her, and they can go together? What is the purpose of like having him try to take her off her square?
Hmm.
That doesn't make sense to me. Like then like we didn't have like date nights for them. We had drama and Esme. And I was saying during that time that this is not good writing for Trina because the majority of their relationship was responding to what he was doing with his ex and the baby. And so now it's like, oh, people are I get it. Where like, where's the story? What is the story beyond Kai? And I'm like, this is actually consistent with what they've done to what they've written for Trina in the past. And so we have to, when we push for her, and we push for all the black characters, have to go beyond the surface. We actually have to push for real story because what I'm seeing is a consistency in the way that she was written. I think that people wanted Sprina, we wanted Sprina to like move, and because of that they didn't do the work that was like necessary to really fully invest in them the way they should have. They had like moments in story, like moments of story, but they never had like overarching story that was fair to her as a character. And now we're seeing the same thing, and it just now it just happens to be with somebody who isn't legacy, who isn't like somebody that people are rooting for her to be with.
Hmm.
But the storyline's consistent to me, sadly.
Yep. And yeah, I'm thinking now more than ever that he's probably going to be killed off.
Oh.
I'm just thinking because it's the way that he's just too eager to have this surgery
Mm-hmm.
and too reliant on Drew, and Drew is becoming more and more problematic. And then the fact that everything points to like for Portia's recommendation was for him not to do it, and he's doing it anyway. So he's being reckless
Mm-hmm.
about it. And we were talking about last week, like where his parents, now we get this flyaway reason that his parents are going to be there. They're supportive, they just can't be here for the surgery right now. So this man is alone. He has no family investment with him. Everyone's saying that he really shouldn't do this surgery. And the only person that really is standing with him is Drew. I think he's going to be killed off soon.
And then they're talking about doing a like documentary on it because that's
Yeah,
the thing about Drew, that he is just villain on villain on villain, stack
right.
stack stack. Like even though it felt like we didn't understand why he was doing this with Kai, but it felt like okay, I just want to be a good guy. Like there's truly nothing that he is doing that is redeemable, and
Right.
this thing with Kai is just another thing. But even
Right.
going back to like the trainer of it all, like part of what should be happening on this show again, because we're not doing a sitcom, we're doing long form storytelling, is that your previous experiences should add up to this experience. And they have
Right.
erased so many of Trina's previous experiences. They
Hmm.
keep a little bit of Sprina, but like Trina's lost another boyfriend. So that's why I'm like, dang,
Yeah.
are they really about to kill off this guy? Because they already killed off Rory and Spencer for her. I
Well,
know that she
heck.
never talks about Rory, but this relationship with Kai is more like that relationship. And we should have some reflection. This is quiet. I didn't think I would like this. I don't know. Like, we don't hear any of that. Like, it's just a piece of her life that is erased. She had this relationship, this conversation with Curtis, no mention of Taggart, just pieces of her
Hmm.
life that are erased. And now we're having this story that's so incompletely told because I don't care how busy Kai's parents supposedly are, there's no reason that he should be having surgery without them. Get a day player.
Right.
I mean, what do you mean? Unless we're gonna find out that like his parents didn't know, which is like a thing, right?
Hmm.
There's no reason. Ain't nobody mama letting them go through surgery by themselves.
Right. His parents flew to the championship playoffs when he twisted his ankle.
Right.
We didn't see them, but we heard that they were there.
Mm-hmm.
But now you're telling us that they can't make it to this big surgery now?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think that he's going to be another character that Trina is going to lose. And it's not too shocking because they killed off Jocelyn's three little boyfriends. Now it's like apparently it's just not a very, you know, safe thing to be as a young male actor on GH because they'll kill you off or disappear you in a heartbeat
Mm-hmm.
if you're at the same age of Joss and Trina and Molly.
Mm-hmm. I mean, a mess. A real mess.
Yeah.
And so we have oh, um Jocelyn and Emma. I also just found it interesting that Emma, like Jocelyn finds Emma in the dumpster. We don't get any Dex flashback. We don't get Jocelyn thinking about that at all, considering that was like one of the big things that happened with them that people used to even like make fun of them about.
Hmm.
And then we get this complete rewrite of history where Emma is telling Jocelyn that she didn't like her because she's always using her money and her influence and like, oh, you probably got into this class because they don't want to make your dad mad. When have we seen this behavior from Jocelyn? Jocelyn and Trina lived in a dorm room.
Did Jax give a whole bunch of money to PCU? I don't think that has
Probably.
happened.
Who knows? Who knows?
If anything, Josh should be mad. I mean, Emma should be mad that Josh is somewhat related to Sonny. Now, if she said that Sonny, they don't want to get Sonny mad, that I can believe. But Jax has not been in the picture for a long time. And he certainly doesn't donate huge sums of money to things. Maybe he did while he was on. I just don't remember because he was kind of forgettable to me.
Mm,
But but he hasn't been like one of those huge donors that people want to cow down to. So that's like really crazy storyline for Emma to have in her head.
it's also just not true to what we've seen from Josh does not behave as an heiress. Every
Right.
once in a while to help other people, she will like offer money and you will remember like, oh yeah, she's rich. Or like
Yeah.
she was like, oh mom, I'll buy your hotel back. But we don't see Jocelyn going on extravagant vacations. Joss does not dress like an heiress. She has always been like, I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Like she's never been over the top with her money. It wasn't even like a drama point between her and Cameron when Cameron was obviously poor. It doesn't make any sense.
It's always been Spencer that lorded his power over other people, not
Mm-hmm.
Joss.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
you know, he straight
yeah,
called he straight called folks
townies.
townies.
Oh, I miss that little spoiled kid. But yeah, like he was like, this is not who Jocelyn ever has been. And even
Mhm.
her being like, you haven't been through anything. I'm sorry, Jocelyn lost two boyfriends. Jocelyn had like, didn't she have to like get a new kidney or something? Like, Jocelyn has actually been through stuff. Jocelyn had a sex tape.
Mhm.
You're supposedly BFS with Cam, and that's why you had a problem with Joss. That means that you know her first time she was violated by Esme.
Mhm.
Her mom got had to be committed because of Nell. She lost her brother Morgan. So to
Mhm.
just like be like you've never been through anything is wild. Um, Another piece of history that's getting rewritten, rivalry that's being extra. Brooklyn and Lulu. Lulu is moving into a new house. Dante helps her. She has this conversation with Rocco about his relationship with Danny. And she gets hired at the Landview paper, which means that Vicky is her boss.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and she decides she's going to do an article about adoption. Brooklyn and Chase have decided they're going to adopt. We got a really messy scene with like Lois being like, "How do I lie about not knowing where we put the baby up for adoption?" Whatever. Um, and we then have Brooklyn and Lulu showdown of Lulu being like, "What? What's the problem?" And Brooklyn taking her to task for trying to write this article and take over her life. Dante comes in, hears some really ridiculous story, and I was like, Dante, are you a detective? How did you not know that's not true? How are you feeling about this Brooklyn Lulu rivalry?
I thought Lulu was going to drop it, but apparently not. She's really bound it. Like she had the conversation with Dante, and Dante was like, "Leave it alone." And yes, and they confront. She had the confrontation about the big lie that was so devastating to her and her trust issues with Dante, and they hashed it out. And then she, was told by Chase to leave it alone. And so I thought she was going to leave it alone, but apparently not. And so and people were on social media bringing up the fact that it was because of Lulu's meddling that Maxie lost her husband. And so apparently she's not learning lessons either. And
Mm-hmm.
so, it's crazy to me that she's still keeping it going. I think there are other ways that um, Dante can find out about Gio without it being Lulu, but for some reason, Lulu's the show's choice in being the catalyst and bringing out the secret. But Brooklyn isn't wrong. Lulu is focusing on trying to find um, the lost baby and trying to return it to, because it just seems every action is about that child.
Right.
So I don't think Brooklyn is being paranoid at all. I think, yeah, I think Lulu needs to mind her business, but apparently she's not going to. So we'll see. I don't think it's going to give her the result she's looking for.
No, no. I,
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for me to even like go down this road because I think that Lulu is so wrong, and so
Yeah.
there's nothing I find to be compelling or correct about her behavior. And I
Hmm.
think that maybe we're supposed to like fall on one side or the other, or feel like both people have points. I just don't think. I think that the adoption was part of Brooklyn's choice.
Hmm.
And just like Lulu, when you had your abortion, that was your choice and people respected it. You have to respect every part of Brooklyn's choice. You also shouldn't even know this. It's not like Brooklyn was like messy and left it sitting around. You broke into
Right.
Martin's room. And I wish that they would allow because they've like defanged Brooklyn. I wish they would like have Brooklyn say, if you pursue this and I find out you told Dante, my family is going to sue you and you're going to wish you were in a coma again because what you did was illegal. But like they
Hmm.
don't have Brooklyn doing that either. So I also think, I mean, I don't care for Lulu. I never have, but I do think that it would make more sense if we, I don't know if they just have stopped having Charlotte. I don't know, but we need to see her do something besides Snoop. Everything Lulu does annoys me. Every time I see her, I wish it was Sam. It's just, it's not like that's not how you're supposed to watch the show, but it's how I'm watching the show.
Right.
Um, okay, just a few more things. So we got Nina and Carly, and we have Nina and Portia. So Nina comes to see Carly, and she's like, "Why did you go off? We gotta keep Drew away from my daughter. We gotta do this, whatever." I did
Yeah.
appreciate the like maturity of Carly of when Nina told her she went too far by bringing up Nell.
Hmm.
Carly was like, "That's fair." I was
Yeah.
like, "Okay."
I was surprised, but
I was very surprised,
pleasantly
but
surprised.
my girl Carly, as soon as Nina leaves, thinking they had a plan, she called
She's like,
Diane and she said,
she's like,
"Baby."
she's like, we're doing this. And, you know, was proven correct by Drew today, or Drew
Right.
on Friday.
hmm so Carly is like betraying Nina. You know, I'm here for it. We'll see what happens.
Right.
But then we have this weird story because this is another misdirect that I just found to be very bizarre. So we have a sex worker talking to the city council person,
Hmm.
and Nina recognizes her. And I thought that, and she's with Portia. I thought they were gonna hire this woman to like create some sort of relationship with the city council person and use him to
Right.
take down Drew, right?
Right. I had not seen her trying to set Drew up with the prostitute. That just seems very childish and just like almost, comical rather than an
So
actual
yeah,
good plan.
so they're gonna have this sex worker like stage like having sex with Drew. They're gonna drug him. It's a mess.
Yeah.
and and I appreciated Portia even being like, "What did this got to do? How will this help me?"
Right.
And I still didn't get the answer.
And all she like the funny thing is that all she has to do is tell the truth.
I don't know if that's true anymore. I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like um I feel like it's too late for that now. And that Drew, as we see as manipulative as he is, will just spin it.
Oh yeah. I totally believe it, but it's just funny to me is that she has a simple solution, but is choosing to go the wild and crazy solutions. Do
Wild.
everything but. If she had told the truth from the beginning earlier, like now it's clearly too late. But if she
hmm
had done it in the beginning, all of this could have been avoided.
Right.
But Nina chooses to do everything but make herself look bad. And she's making herself look worse the further she goes along.
Terrible. And we know that Tracy and Ned know. Cody
Right.
knows. There are too many people that know that this and for this to have not come out yet.
Yeah.
So then we got oh, this is the juicy one. The last two juicy stories. Willow sees Jason. Now, weirdly enough, she told Drew that she ran into Jason, but it was also clear that she had sought Jason out.
Yeah.
And she goes, Jason, tell. Carly doesn't take my kids. Girl, you did everything to alienate your husband and his family, but now you crying about okay. So Jason tells her you eventually like you need to just go see Michael. Willow goes back to the house with Drew, tells him that she's gonna go see Michael. He kind of like pushes back, whatever, whatever. She also asked him to like halt the guardianship thing. We do get clarity. Still doesn't feel legal, but he says if something happens to you and to Michael, Carly won't get the kids. So at least we're not doing that. They also have this conversation
Hmm.
about whether or not Carly is lying about Michael's progress.
Hmm.
And Drew tries to like go to Germany with her and make it like some love getaway.
That was hilarious. He was like, okay, I understand. Well, let me go ahead and charter the jet so we can go together. Like, sir, this conversation was not meant for you.
For you. So we do this,
Hmm.
and Willow goes to Germany, and we hear the front lady at the front desk after going back, come back and say, Michael doesn't want to see you. Now I'm geeked because I'm like, yeah, we got shady Michael. Let's go.
Oh.
Let's go, evil Michael. Let's do it. Because that's my that's my favorite Michael. So let's go. LFG
Right.
Michael.
But it wasn't
So
that.
Willow leaves. She calls Nina to tell Nina that Michael didn't want to see her. We see the woman call someone to be like, I told her. Who did you think that she was calling?
Oh, I knew immediately it
You
was
knew?
Drew. No,
I thought it
no,
was
I did not
Carly.
know. Oh, I was like, because my comment was, I felt like Drew let it go too easy.
Yeah,
Like, I felt like I thought he should have fought harder to prevent her from going alone,
right.
but he didn't. He was just like, okay. And so, as soon as she picked up that phone and was calling somebody, I was like, oh, that gotta be Drew. Drew and his scandalous ass. So
See,
I knew it was him immediately. But
I
let me
thought it was
see.
Carly. I thought it was gonna be Carly.
What nurse in God's green earth will be like, pick up the phone and be like, hey, yeah, you can pay me to tell somebody that this patient doesn't want to see them. I'm perfectly fine with that. I can go about my day and still continue with my job and look this patient in the face every single day, knowing that I did something like as horrible as that. Man, folks be hella shady for some money.
Hmm.
I would just feel
So
guilty
I
every
was
single day.
disappointed that Michael was not on that because we also had Carly saying that Michael still loved Willow. That's why I
Mhm.
was really like, yeah, Michael, tell her you don't love her. No, Michael didn't even know. Um, Willow still, I'm like, girl, you live with the fact that she's like saying, I didn't even tell Michael I live with Drew. Like, you could, why wouldn't you assume that his family told him? Why would he want to see you?
Right.
Willow and Michael, like, I feel like the moves that Willow has made have been the moves that make her scared to like she's gonna lose her kids. The
Hmm.
first thing that you did was trying to take them kids out of Michael's house, and then he let you go. And then you're spending holidays with Drew. Like you've just never had any shame. And again, I know I know what I'm watching. There's affairs. There's this. There's that. It's not the things that are happening that are just the problem. It is the intention behind them. It is like the things that are like surrounding them. And for Willow and Drew to act so like flippant about their behavior and like people are wrong for not messing with them, look what you've done. And you
Hmm.
continue to do.
Hmm.
So I mean another it was also pretty gross because we're watching this manipulation of Willow. And I just want the writers to know that if they listen to us, I will not be gaslit. I still hate Willow too. I don't care if she's a victim.
Yeah, I mean, because somebody was like, "Do you now empathize with Willow?" I'm like, no,
No.
because she has a level of awareness of how she gloms on to men and in order to feel safe. And she knows this. She
Mm-hmm.
knows that she hooks herself up with the wrong men. And so she
Mm-hmm.
still chose to be with Drew.
Yep.
And she is very much aware that Drew was Michael's uncle and still slept with him. Still did not tell Michael that I'm having some weird feelings for the uncle right now. Maybe we should split up and then go and sleep with him. No, she just went ahead and slept with him.
Mm-hmm.
And without any kind of knowledge about, well, yeah, I, without any kind of knowledge about what Michael did with Sasha, she still slept with that man. She made that choice. So no, I do not feel sorry for her now that Ryan or Drew is manipulating her
Mm-hmm.
at all.
Nope.
So, you know, no, I don't feel
Nope.
sorry for what.
Nope. And finally, person. We have Carly obviously finding out about the heart condition, saying she's going to LA with Sonny. Um, Sonny tries to push back, obviously doesn't work. They go to LA. Brick comes, sits with Carly during the surgery. Sonny has all of these like flashes with his kids, except for Michael and Morgan. And yeah, makes it through surgery. But we see someone dressed up as a nurse who is going to inject something in his IV. Um, Implication is it feels like it's probably sent by Sidwell. So we'll see. My thing, because when we saw a preview of Carly coming in, my thought is that what it is that Sunny's gonna, overtake the person from his bed or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I enjoyed the Carson scenes. I will say that. Just like the tenderness and the history between them. Um, I enjoyed it. How did you feel?
It was it was the fierceness of Carly saying, I don't care if you see the light and if someone offers you a thing of gym and
Yeah.
say, come on in, you are gonna come back. You hear me? And she was like,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, Carly, the fierceness.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, okay. You know,
Right.
that was it for me. And I wrote that down as that was my that was like, ooh, she was just like
Mm-hmm.
in that hospital room and she was like, you're coming back. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
what happens. You're fighting and you're coming back. I loved it. That was actually probably one of my most that was my second favorite scene. The
Mm-hmm.
first one with Rick telling off Alexis and Carly being Carly in the scene in the hospital was the best. Those are the best scenes for me.
You can't really outdo a Carson scene when it comes to like the history and the connection
Hmm.
between those characters. And I understand why people are like, oh, they don't have like perhaps the chemistry that you might want to see with a couple or like hot chemistry or whatever. I think they have like a very and I say this in a I don't really particularly care for Carson. I don't ship them, but I think they have like a very lived in chemistry. And I say that like as a compliment. Like
Hmm.
a very like this is us, like we are a unit type chemistry. And I don't particularly like them as a romantic pairing, but I do love them as like a friend pairing. And I don't hate them as a romantic pairing. It's just not my thing. And I think that this week just really proved why they're so good.
Yeah, I mean, I would love, I think anyone would be lucky to kind of have that kind of partner, whether they're your husband or your ex or just really good friends in your life. To have that person that you can always count on no matter what is amazing. And I'm jealous of it. And I hope to get it one day.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So that's amazing.
Do you have any hot takes?
I think those are the only thing. Oh, I did say that also Marco held his own against Alexis. So great start, young man. That's what I wrote.
Hmm.
Pointing out to her that, you come from a sketchy family yourself and you have a relationship with a dangerous person too. So don't be, judging me. That kind of thing.
I don't want to defend Alexis, but I need Marco to understand that that's different. He's like, you don't use your last name either. Okay. We talking about,
No, but I appreciated that he held his own.
yeah, yeah. I have a couple things I wrote. Um, when Lulu was like, I shouldn't have to put my, not Lulu, sorry. Willow was like, I shouldn't have to put my life on hold. I was like, girl, you are still married and wearing that man's ring while living with his
Give back
uncle.
Lila's ring. Give back I think that should be a campaign. You should go like all fans of GH need to go on some sort of social media letter writing campaign and just be like, give back Lila's ring.
Please. I don't need any more Christina and Lucky scenes. I'm not interested.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Lucky needs to tell Elizabeth post haste.
I love LNO too, and so if this becomes a barrier for LNO two, I'm about to be really mad about it.
Hmm.
Um, I said Lulu look like a fake ass, nosy ass Rosie the Riveter. Ah, uh, oh yeah, and then when Lulu was like so when they were talking, when Dante and Lulu were talking about Danny and Rocco, and so, Dante was like, Danny hopes Rocco loosen up, and Lulu was like, we don't want him too loose. Um, Lulu, don't speak on Sam's kids.
Too loose. What does that mean?
Like that was the opportunity to be like, Sam just really raised amazing kid. I'm so glad. Like, don't ever
Right.
try to disparage not Danny. Okay,
Oh
thank
no.
you.
Yeah.
Didn't like it. I also was confused. So Diane went to Rick and was like, we need permission to take Avery, like, whatever, to the island. Why? The island's in Puerto Rico. That's still the States. Did the show forget that?
Well, Rick did. Why are you taking him out of the country?
Yeah. Like, if their thing is like, if you take them over state lines, you have to say something cool. But
Yeah.
they're going to Puerto Rico. That's still in the country. Get your geography
Geography.
game up, GH. All right, I'll give you previews for next week, and we'll get out of here. Monday, Sonny is in grave danger. Alexis receives a gift. Trina and Kai enjoy a night out. Geo turns to Emma for help. Christina and Molly want answers
Ooh.
from Alexis.
I know.
Tuesday, yeah, yeah. I'm just annoyed at both of them. Tuesday, Anna is suspicious. Marco and Lucas get closer. Tracy reveals shocking info to Geo. Portia walks in on Curtis and Drew, or I'm sorry, Curtis and Jordan.
Ooh.
Well, what?
Having a conversation.
Better be. Um, Drew makes a scene. Wednesday, Willow has an unpleasant homecoming. Nina has second thoughts. Brennan shares his theory. Alexis vents to Lulu. Laura and Curtis confer.
What does Alexis have to vent to Lulu about?
No clue. Just a scene to annoy me. Uh, Thursday, Brooklyn opens up to Tracy. Drew pleads his case. Laura cautions Lulu. Chase makes a request of Dante. Jocelyn crafts a plan. And finally, Friday, Maxie receives an ultimatum. Dante and Lulu have an emotional talk. Lois is put on the spot. Nina debriefs with Carly. Mac learns of a crime. Okay. It does sound like from these spoilers, the thing with Drew happens. Um, and Willow walks in on it. So we shall see.
I guess we shall.
Thanks for rocking
Um,
with us. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, thanks for
Yeah, we
watching
had a longer
and
episode
listening.
today. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. I think if you're on YouTube, I'm going to start not today, but next week, putting these up as like a premiere, and that way you
Hmm.
can like people can like chat with each other and then chat with us. Um, but let me know if you're interested in that. Otherwise, if you want to buy some coffee, the link is in the description, and we will see you next week. Bye.